Hey guys, what's up? It's Nick Havoc. So I asked my stream, what is the #1 video that you guys wanted? It's honestly, actually, the response was the question I probably get asked the most on my stream as well, and that's, how do I get better at the game? So without further ado, here are my simple tips on how to get better. I'm gonna add a disclaimer right here. I'll take all of this with a grain of salt because it's my personal preference. Your personal preference could be 1,000 times different. Your practice regimen could be 1,000 times different. But anyway, let's get into it. Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is comfort and sensitivity, because I feel like they go hand in hand. First things first, my keyboard, the current one I'm using is a Fnatic Streak, the full size. It's Cherry MX Reds. I love that. I'm using a SteelSeries QCK Plus, and I use a Logitech G203. I do use an off-market brand mouse bungee, which is like I got from like back in 2008. Either way, this is my setup. So for this first episode, we're going to be talking almost explicitly about sensitivity. A little bit about comfort, which I'll just cover now. If you're not comfortable at your desk, you're hurting yourself. Be comfortable at home. Set your desk up so you're comfortable at playing. If you're worrying about your keyboard position, your mouse position, and your wrist position 1,000 times over, you're going to be less focused in game, and it's going to affect you, and then your mental game is going to start to break down. Yeah, it's no bueno. So get comfortable. Now, moving on. Let's talk about sensitivity. I think sensitivity is one of the biggest deals when it comes to FPSs, because first and foremost, if you're not comfortable with your sensitivity, if you have to think about where your mouse is being moved and how much wrist pressure and everything like that every single time you're playing, you're going to be milliseconds behind the guy who just swings and frags you. Now, I'm going to try and generalize this as much as possible. I know most of you are Roblox players. I'm going to use Counter-Strike as a starting point. Counter-Strike is free. If you don't have it on Steam, go download it. The map I show in this video is also free. You go to the workshop, you search for CSGO, and you search for the map name. And then you can have a starting point with your sensitivity and transfer that over to Roblox, which is what I did coming from a Counter-Strike background. Okay guys, so here's the map I mentioned. So this is Crash's and Mysterio's config generator, and what it has inside of it is it has a bunch of professional Counter-Strike players configs, as well as a lot of the top like famous streamers. Like you have Nothing, you have Shroud, you have Summit, as well as if you go to the pro settings, you have all of MIBR, you have Luminosity, you have NIP, which I'm not sure if all these rosters are up to date. It is what it is. I'm pretty sure, yeah, this one isn't up to date exactly, but you get my drift. Like, it's a good starting point. So say you're like, I have no idea what I want to do with my sensitivity. So it just feels wrong. I don't know where to start. Here you go. For instance, personally, I use a modified version of Fallen's config. Back in 1.6, I used to use Markolov's config, and then before that I used Jaguar's config. And basically what I do is I will take a config, and here I'll start over and we'll tweak it. So I want to make sure I have my zoom sense is 98, my sensitivity is 2.4. So what I'm going to do, first things first, I'm going to turn resolution off. I always play at 1024 by 768 stretch. Here we go. Boom. So now I have Fallen sensitivity. See how it says mouse settings applied, set your DPI to 400. Well, if I go set my mouse settings in my Logitech thing to 400, I will now have Fallen's exact setup. That being said, I play with 400 DPI on my mouse, so I'm essentially 1 for 1 with Fallen right now. What sensitivity does he use? He uses 2.05. I use a little bit higher than that. I use 2.4. His zoom sensitivity, he uses 1.2, which is what it used to be in 1.6. So when he makes a swipe, he can overcompensate when he whips. My HUD color is pink or purple, excuse me, because I like to match the stream colors. And then the colors behind me. Crosshairs, everything the same. I use the smaller, simple style HUD. And that's about the same. This feels about right from when I just started out in here. Now, I know my sensitivity. For you guys that don't and haven't ever played, like maybe you're a simple fan. Let me see if he's on here. Boom, there's the man himself. He plays with a really high sensitivity. So if I go and hit this, yeah, he plays with 3.0. So I can go over here now, and I've got his crosshair sensitivity, which feels really high to me. But obviously I don't play with that. So I'm going to run back over here. and go, where was it? MMBR Fallen, which is left-handed. Sensitivity for me would be 2.4. Zoom sensitivity would be 9.8. I have this dialed in because I played with it for so long, and now all of a sudden, feels a lot better. So yeah, it's a good starting point for you guys. And then what you can do is you can take these sensitivities and transition them into other games. How do we transfer it to Roblox? Well, for me, I use a website called mousesensitivity.com. You can go here, boom, I'll just punch it in again. And when you get here, there's a calculator option. Click there, you go down here, calculator settings. They have a simple mode and an advanced mode. I'm using the advanced mode so I can break this down for you guys. So the first game we're gonna do is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, boom. My sensitivity is 2.4, I use a 400 DPI. Calculate on sensitivity, I use raw input on. My FOV is fine, that's whatever. And then I'm going to convert it to Roblox. Now, obviously Roblox has 4 billion different games. Luckily, this website has an option for sub-game counterblocks. So, what it's going to tell me is my 2.4 sensitivity in CS is actually a 0.13141. Alright, so we're in Roblox now. I have set my sensitivity. Let's see if it feels like Counter-Strike. Yep, I would say this is pretty one-on-one with Counter-Strike. It's able to do a 180. This feels pretty solid. So yeah, so that is the way that I quickly transitioned my Counter-Strike sensitivity into Roblox. Alright guys, so this is pretty much going to wrap the video up for the start of this one. This is just episode 1. I'm trying to figure out how I want to do these episodes, and this is just kind of the trial run of it. And then guys, the very last thing I want to touch in this video is probably the most important, to be honest, so I hope you watch this till the end. Keep it consistent. And I got really close to the mic for a reason for that. This tweet that I'm going to post here on the screen that has 1 retweet and 1 like is the most accurate thing that I've done to hurt my gameplay in my entire Counter-Strike career. You want to know who liked it and who retweeted it? This man right here, James IRL, the coach for Cloud9. Why? He knows probably better than anybody that this kills your consistency. I'll switch gun hands, I'll switch sensitivity, I'll switch zoom sense, and you know what? I always go back to 2.4, I always go back to 0.98, and it's because it's tried and true, it's what works for me. And at the end of the day, that's probably what I should have been playing with to start. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm going to take off here. This was kind of just a spur of the moment video at about 4 a.m. It's now 7 a.m. I've been trying to figure out how to do this process. July 22nd, 24-hour stream on my Twitch, which there'll be a link in the description below. It's just HVK TV. Follow HVK TV on socials. It's HVK_TV on Instagram and HVK TV on Twitter. Thank you guys. My name is Nick Havoc. I'm live Tuesday through Saturday. I hope you guys follow the Twitch. Alright guys, see you later.